Hello, everybody. It is Jazzy, the video store Sasquatch here, and we are doing our Throwback Thursday. I have a new movie I went and saw in the theaters, and then I thought I would start our Marvel little thing because we're going to go into a bunch of Marvel movies this year because the end of the year we have just Avengers coming out and Spider-Man coming out. So we're going to start with the early stuff on Marvel this week with a couple movies. Um, from the first releases. So Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and then the original X-Men is what we're going to be talking about there. And we also will have a new thing going to the channel or going to the page this week where we will spin a wheel at the end of this episode for just actors. There's going to be like 300 actors or something we're going to put in the wheel here. And we'll just pick out 5 movies to watch from their IMDb page there. And every day I will post a new video for the movie that we watched. Maybe if we can get into some live stuff, because I was having trouble kind of fix the laptop and stuff. So maybe we can get into some live stuff. We'll do some live stuff with that too. As we're progressing, we'll just kind of start with the videos daily, then move in to what we have here. So we all know I went and saw Scary Movie Thursday. Saturday, I went to our local drive-in 61 and saw Masters of the Universe. A young man on Earth discovers a fabulous secret legacy as the prince of an alien planet and must recover a magic sword and return home to protect his kingdom. This is directed by Travis Knight and starring Nicholas Galazzini, Camila Mendez, and Idris Elba. I thought Jared Leto was Skeletor too. You barely kind of recognize it. Of course you're not going to recognize Skeletor, but you barely kind of recognize his voice. Idris Elba plays a badass character in this. Alison Brie shows up fantastic in this. And there's really so many good people here. I like Sam C. Wilson's Trapjaw. Dolph Lundgren kind of shows up and makes a little experiment or a little pop up. I love Nicholas Galazzini as Adam / He-Man. I really think they did a really very well job with this, and that's kind of what led me into doing what I was doing later with the movies we're talking about later. Is there's just such a good, fantastic opening story for this character that we don't really get a lot of good origin stories anymore, or we're surpassing origin stories and we're going into other things. So it is kind of refreshing to see a good one, and even if it is formulaic, because that is really a problem that people are going to say about this movie is it's very formulaic. The formula works for a reason, people. I mean, literally, I could have just named you how this movie would have went along, and there's nothing wrong with that, honestly. And Skeletor done here is so well done here because not only is he menacing, but he's funny, and that's what the comics kind of got with Skeletor. And we don't have that voice that we kind of are used to with him. That's kind of a little off, but it's still it comes into everything together. Alison Brie's character is very good too, and she has a good facial. She's always really good. You kind of expected more from her career-wise, but she did so well early on with Community and stuff like that. She really didn't need to do a whole lot, and then on top of that, she had to work with her husband a lot, so you can't really blame her or blame anything on her for what she did. She's a very successful lady, and she's very good when she is on, and I mean, this is our first studio movie she's probably been in a while. Idris Elba, he's just one of the guys that you can just kind of bring in and beat up people, and people will enjoy that. Camila Mendez, another one, did a really good job. I kind of want to make sure I go down the list because there's just so many done characters and performances here that you kind of want to make sure you kind of hit everybody to make sure that they get it. I definitely recommend to go see this movie. I think this movie could be one of those movies that maybe gets a little second wind on the second week, kind of like Obsession did, and other movies we've talked about. I really hope you guys go see it in theaters. But it's even more well done in theaters because you gotta remember I saw this in a drive-in, and no matter what, the drive-in's awesome. But there is something that you do kind of miss out with the drive-in there, and that is the sound. A little bit quality is down, and on top of that, you're kind of like, not, it's not like a top of the line IMAX camera pictures and stuff like this. So, but even in theaters, this movie is even more impressive, and it is so well done. I can't really say too much more about it. And that is Masters of the Universe. Please go see it in theaters next week. Uh, we're gonna move on to the other movies I was talking about here. With our old Marvel movies, we're gonna start Marvel. I mean, we're gonna kind of dip our toes in it at first and get some of these early ones kind of done, and then kind of move into more of a line here with the Spider-Man. But Spider-Man, directed by Sam Raimi, starring Tobey Maguire, Kristen Dunst, and William Dafoe. A shy teenager is bitten by a genetically modified spider and uses his new spider-like abilities to fight injustice as a masked superhero. This came out in 2002, and I mean, this was the movie of the movies. And I remember they even had to like kind of hold it back because it was going to come out around, or maybe I think they kind of had to hold it back because they had a scene with the World Trade Center in it, and they had to get rid of it. I don't know if it like they had like how far back they had to push the release date, or if they just had to get rid of it and move into the same release date. But they did have like a whole ending to do with the World Trade Center, and then of course September 11th happened, and that couldn't happen. The release date of this is May 3rd, 2002. Had a budget of 139 million. Had a gross of U.S. gross of 408. Total worldwide is 810 million here. Crazy numbers. This is a hit of hits. It made Tobey Maguire everyday person. It made Spider-Man all over the place. It made it made everyone kind of turn around and look at other properties that they could do with comic books. The best thing I can say about this is that this is the most grounded one of them. And I think that Sam Raimi intentionally did that to just hearing of what he said about it and stuff like this. I think he intentionally kept this as like a real grounded movie. Like, okay, if Spider-Man was really going to happen, how would it happen, and what would be the reactions, and not like kind of played into more of the comic book stuff here. So this is like the classic for classics. And like I said, it's really did start it all here. I mean, I guess it didn't really start off because I guess X-Men was out before it, but I really, in reality, this really kind of made the movies like, okay, X-Men brought in Spider-Man, but Spider-Man kind of like, okay, what do we do from here? We get the second one, it's just as big of a hit. And then third one, it kind of fell off, but it still did huge numbers. And then all of a sudden, Toby kind of gets a little older, doesn't want to do the role, or something kind of happens there. And they go into a pivot situation just like 5 years after that. So, but the whole business was pivoting because you got to remember that in between the third one and the new Spider-Man, Iron Man came out, and the whole business is about to change because now all these movies are going to be entertained or intertwined and all that. So we'll go into all that craziness there, but that is really kind of what stopped the progression of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans because they wanted to get a new Spider-Man in to get into the Iron Man stuff and the Disney stuff, and it just kind of didn't pan out for Fox because they kind of screw the pitch, and you have a whole lot of movies to go over, but yeah, that's kind of what happened there. And that is Spider-Man, directed by Sam Raimi. The next one we're going to talk about here is X-Men, directed by Bryan Singer, starring Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, and Ian McKellen. In a world where mutants evolve, superpowered humans exist and are discriminated against, two groups form for an inevitable clash: the supremacist Brotherhood and the pacifist X-Men. This is a classic. Anna Paquin, Halle Berry, Famke Janssen, James Marsden, Tyler Mane, Ray Park, Rebecca Romaine Stamos, or Rebecca Romaine now, was Rebecca Romaine Stamos at the time. Just so many people were involved with this movie. It's just so crazy, and it had to be such a good ensemble too. And like when you really kind of go back and watch it, this really movie holds up because it really is kind of fighting for something that is everyone can kind of understand, that's like equal rights and stuff like this, and it kind of goes into a lot of that, and that's what kind of made this movie so successful, and kind of what made X-Men so successful overall, because there's so many people that could just kind of relate, so many groups of people that just kind of could relate. We all kind of know what the most famous kind of version of that is, but just even like weird people could relate to being X-Men, and it really kind of filled out. And then you got Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, who just really kind of killed the role, and then who kind of really killed the role so well that, like, I mean, he's Wolverine. He's the only Wolverine we've ever had of all these movies where we've had so many different superheroes playing by so many different people. Wolverine's the only one that stood the same since 2000. We're in 2026 now, so he's 26 years of doing Wolverine, and he just done it like that for a reason. It's had an original budget of 75 million, had a gross of 157.2 million, and can't gross in the U.S. and Canada, and then the gross worldwide is 296. So another 100 on top of that. And this is at a time when, like, huge box office grosses ain't really that big of a deal. I mean, this is all big numbers. These are all, what's the opening here? 54, probably the number one opening of all time at the point in time. So crazy numbers to deal with Marvel. It all kind of started right there, and it's all because these introductory stories are done so well that you kind of wanted more and more and more stuff with these characters, and just to see them around and doing stuff that saving the world, basically. I mean, I think honestly, the X-Men, like, there's just so many good stories in the X-Men genre that you could really just, I mean, you could have scary movies like they try to do with the New Mutants. You could have action thrillers. You could have adventures. You could have psychological shit. Like, there's just so much fun shit you could do with X-Men. So that is where we are there. That was X-Men, directed by Bryan Singer. We're going to go over our box office report real quick here. As soon as everything kind of loads in, it's killing me here with these load times. All right. So I got my wish. Scary Movie took the first place of the weekend here with $54 million. I don't know why. I just wanted this to do it. I wanted comedy to be number one because I feel like even with the 54 million, had Masters of the Universe been number one and had like $75 million into the opening weekend, with it, everyone would be saying the same shit. But you can't say the same shit when the best movie of the week on there probably took the top box office, honestly. Even though Masters is really good, Scary Movie is what people have been waiting for. People want to laugh, they want to die laughing, and I mean, you're crying laughing throughout that whole movie. So 54 million for Scary Movie. Masters of the Universe had $29 million. Look at, I'm not trying to pick on Masters. I thought this movie was very well done, honestly, and then, like, really high rated up there for this year. Definitely top of the line, great introductory story, introduction, and everything like that. So I'm not trying to pick on it. I just was really rooting for Scary Movie there. Backrooms, 26 million is just sticking around. That we'll review that tomorrow. Total of 143 million. And then Obsession, the just hit of the year, 25 million. 161 million together. We're going to be doing a review on that tomorrow. The Amazing Digital Circus, The Last Act, and this is a thing, 12 million. And then Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and Grogu, $158 million total, with a $10 million haul this year. So just, there's 6 movies, over 10 million, a random one with a circus. So people are going back to movies hard this year. That's good. We need entertainment. Yeah, I mean, Michael numbers are huge. This is a bunch of huge numbers this year. And the movie quality's actually been kind of the same. Like, it's been worth it. Unlike last year where it just was not there. It's not the quality. Um, Hold on here. We're gonna change things up real quick, and then we will be doing the spin for the actor that we're gonna celebrate this next week coming up starting Monday. All right, we're back here. Let's hope this works here. Let's see here. Let's see everything. I hope everything works. All right, so click the spin. We have, I believe, 100 names here. Let's do it. All right, Anthony Mackie. So we will do um
5 movies from Anthony Mackie this week, starting Monday. Interesting name. So that is how we'll do this. Cool. Thank you guys very much for watching, and please have a good.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comment section. And see you next time in the cave.